we are in the site where a layperson full of faith decided to offer this hill that was his own family property and to build on it the 14th station of the cross. It took a lot of time for him during the years 80s and 90s, about 15 years to realize this great project. He built one chapel for each station of cross, and imported from Italy also the wooden panel that represent the various scenes of the Station of Cross.
I've been there before it was built as it is. As soon as he started building, when I visited him in his house, not far from some meters from the cathedral, he spoke to me about it, and I went there discreetly. On the hilltop there, that was a wonderful gift he made to the Diocese of Bamenda.
I came this way in Bamenda Archdiocese like missionary back in the year 1989. And the person who impressed me most was Pa Fred Bubang. A huge person also physically, but especially with a big heart. He welcomed me like a real father, and he helped me to settle down, to feel at home in this part of the world, in Cameroon.
I knew Pa Bubang very well. He also taught me in Mankan Primary School. He was the agricultural master of the primary school, and agriculture was for him the all and be all. And I still remember the day he came to me, he gave me 24 strokes. And according to him, I was a proud boy.
Why was that so?
I could not touch cow dung with my hands. And compost pit was a mixing of cow dung and green grass for artificial manure for the gardens. But I left Bamenda with my sister, who was quite older than myself, married already, left with her husband on transfer to Boya. I only saw Pa Bubang again when I was being ordained. I was ordained in 1966 in Mankan. And the one thing that struck me when I went for further studies, came back and was teaching in Bambwe, Major Seminary. He saw in me a future bishop, as he told me. Bishop Paul was our bishop in Mankan. I think you should be a bishop in Kumbo.
And that's what Pa Bubang told you.
He told me this jokingly.
Right.
When I became a bishop in reality for the Diocese of Yagua, I came from Rome directly to Bamenda, and Pa Bubang was at the head of a group of Christians who came to welcome me in Santa. So I've never forgotten from that time on. Anytime I'm in Bamenda on holidays, when I was already in Yagua, I always visited him. Okay. And when he died, I was told I was already in Douala. So I decided that I would preside the burial.
Okay.
So I presided his burial. And we knew him as somebody who loved the church. And that is why he's giving a special praise near the cathedral. It's only priests who are buried near the cathedral, but Pa Bubang's grave is, he was the first, I think, to be buried in that area, apart from the cemetery.
The shrine is located on a hill of about 1,500 meters high, between 3 parishes. From there is a beautiful view of downtown Bamenda, which it dominates. Mr. Mubanga realized the project of the shrine single-handedly. He got the construction plans made, provided the material for the construction, and personally supervised the construction works daily. It is said that he was at the work site every day with the workers from morning till evening. He was a very pious man and known for his generosity to the poor and the church in the Archdiocese of Bamenda. He sponsored the construction of the Bamenda Cathedral and a number of other church institutions.
The shrine was built and completed in December of 1995 and donated by Papa Fred Mubang to the Archdiocese of Bamenda for people to come for spiritual renewal with God. The Mubang family also completed this chapel so that when people say the 14 Stations of the Cross, they may celebrate the Eucharist in the chapel if they have a priest with them.
Was the 8th December 1995 that Pa Fred Mubang, with a big celebration, handed over to the Archdiocese of Bamenda the shrine, MATER Redemptoris shrine in Jangma. And the diocese took over, but Pa Fred Mubang was interested to develop more that shrine. And he asked me to bring from Italy a copy of the Pietà of Michelangelo, a nice copy that was brought from Italy and was kept in order to put the statue in honor in a chapel at the end of the 14th Station of the Cross. But it happened that God called him back home to heaven before he could achieve this other project. The statue was packed, was waiting for any other project to be achieved. He not only built that 14 station, but he ordered from Italy some special wooden carved panel from Val Gardena, one very famous place where they are specialized in carving wood. And he bought all these panels, these statues from Italy, Val Gardena, and put in place in the 14th Station of the Cross.
I'm sure he spent more because the statues are of human size and they came from Italy, I think so. So the children are following on the footsteps of their father by continuing with their father to make sure that the place is worth its name as a spiritual, powerful spiritual center for the Archdiocese of Bamenda. And I think the Archbishop is very, very grateful for that gift. He had the one to develop things there again. Because I heard the bishop wants to appoint a priest, the archbishop wants to appoint a priest who will be there as a spiritual father of the center when all is built up with a residence for a priest. I think I encourage them every time they come to see me to talk about it. I encourage them and thank them in the name of the church.
The shrine is the center of our diocesan pilgrimage, which takes place every third Friday of Lent. Lent is a time when the Christians of this church, especially in Cameroon in general, are very devoted to the Stations of the Cross. And the Stations of the Cross, which is set every day of Lent, very early in the mornings, leads them through the sufferings, the passion and death of our Lord Jesus Christ. During the year, Christians come here for their pilgrimage, devotion, retreats, and they come not just from the Archdiocese of Bamenda, but from other dioceses. And once a year, we have a diocesan pilgrimage, which brings together delegates, Christians, non-Christians as well, here. And usually it's about 10, 15, 20,000 people. And the whole day is spent on the meditation on the Stations of the Cross and Eucharistic celebration. All the priests of the diocese all gather here to hear the confession, the sacrament of reconciliation, because that is a propitious moment. We are now on the top of the hill. You see the area is very rocky, and it's a natural topography that was just chosen for this purpose, and I think it fits in very well because it reminds us of Calvary. The station right on top here is a crucifixion of Jesus here. As we walk up the hill, we go through the different stations of the cross, and we come to the top of the hill. And here we have the 12th station, where Jesus is crucified with the two thieves, the repentant one and the one who jeers at him, and with Mary at the foot of the cross. And so it reminds us, it invites all of us to penance, to conversion. And you can see downtown here, the whole town of Bamenda is at the foot of this hill. And it reminds us of Jerusalem. And from here, the Christians are really very inspired. When they are here praying, they feel that they're right up in Calvary. And after we've walked up and come right up this way, we sort of pour our worries, identify ourselves with the suffering Christ and offer them up as a sacrifice with him. And that's why this pilgrimage ends with the Eucharistic celebration. And here they have the altar where the Eucharist is celebrated. and all the pilgrims, 10, 15, 20,000 of them, and the numbers are increasing every year, are all assembled here. And the whole day is a day of prayer, a day of penance, of conversion. The priests are there available to all our faithful, to hear their confession, to reconcile them with the Lord, to go back home reconciled with one another. Is usually a very intensive spiritual day in the life of our church.
During the year, many pilgrims, they'll go there to spend time and even days. Even without accommodation, sometimes they sleep even in the church. But they are eager to spend time in prayer, in meditation, in this holy place. And I see that especially during Lenten season, thousands and thousands of pilgrims, they go there coming from different parishes within and without the Diocese of Bamenda. Then the Archbishop of Bamenda, Cornelius Fontem Esua, started the tradition that every year during Lenten a diocesan pilgrimage will take place, and then between 10 and 20,000 people they gather there to pray, to celebrate the Station of the Cross, to celebrate the Holy Eucharist. At the beginning, 100 and more priests are available for the sacrament of reconciliation, and then there is the beautiful solemn celebration of the Holy Eucharist. The pilgrims, they are really enriched by this spiritual experience, and I am convinced that more and more this center of spirituality could help so many pilgrims, even from abroad, because Dr. John Mubang is promoting the vision of this holy place, of this shrine, even outside of Cameroon.
Cannot be grateful enough to our fervent and very devoted Christian Papa Frederick Muban, who gave us this gift to our local church based on his own spirituality that was based on identifying ourselves with the sufferings and death of Jesus, offering ourselves to God and for the service of the church.
The diocese and the Christians will show that they are grateful by using the place and by keeping the place going on. Children will not have to be financing all the time, I think. It should become, as I advised one of them, who is like the head of the group, of the family, say do nothing there without the bishop, because now the diocesan property. And then time will come when they will be tired, but that center will be there till Christ comes again. So therefore the keeping up of the center will fall on the shoulders of the Archdiocese of Bamenda. And therefore the Christians should decide that any time they make a pilgrimage, there should be offerings, and that the center should have its own account for the continuous upkeeping of the center. If you are there, you feel really as if you are already in heaven, because you are away from every noise, Unlike Christ, Christ had the habit of going to pray in the mountain, withdrawing from the crowd, and then going to pray with his apostles on the mountain. And the mountain gives one a certain spiritual push. So I think the best sign of gratitude will be the use of that center.
The successor of Pa Fred Mubang, Dr. John Mubang, took at heart this project of the father. He felt that it was his duty to keep the project, the main project of the Papa, going on and expanding more and more. So he single-handed sponsored the building of a nice church at the end of the 14th Station of the Cross, so that the faithful after the pilgrimage could stop in this church, could pray, could celebrate the Holy Eucharist, and could venerate on this beautiful statue of Pietà of Michelangelo that was put in honor just there in that church. Really, Dr. John Mubang is open-minded and open heart. He would like to see that this shrine should be really in the heart of so many pilgrims, and already now thousands and thousands of pilgrims coming not only from the Diocese of Bamenda but also from different distant places come there to spend hours and sometimes even days. So Dr. John Mubang would like to see that these pilgrims could have some facilities there, could have some accommodation, resting house, even to stay for a few days, for 1 week. So his own vision is that maybe diocesan priest or a religious community could be resident there to welcome these pilgrims, and these pilgrims could be accommodated in suitable places, so that they may have really a moment, a day or few days of retreat, of spiritual upliftment, so that they may be really enriched by this holy place of MATER Redemptoris shrine in Jangma.
The church will forever be grateful to the children, because their case is also when the father begins something like that, when he dies, the children tend to withdraw a bit. And I'm happy that for their case it is the contrary. They want to make the place still better and better for the best spiritual use of them. I wish they continue with that spirit of their father.
The impact of this place of prayer has been enormous in Cameroon. It has contributed to the promotion of the spirituality of the people without distinction of creed. Not only Catholics, but also members of other Christian denominations and even Muslims participate in the pilgrimages, especially during the Lenten season. The Archdiocese of Bamenda is raising funds to build a residence for the chaplain, who will be available to provide the sacramental needs of the pilgrims, and another residence for a community of religious to look after the shrine. The vision of the local church is to have hostels for the pilgrims who want to spend some time at the shrine for prayer and retreats. The diocese also wants to construct a big esplanade for open-air celebrations during big pilgrimages. The dream is to construct on this spot a basilica dedicated to Our Lady, Mother of the Redeemer.